What's going on, everybody? I am in a neighborhood of San Francisco that is very near and dear to my heart. This is Hayes Valley, very centrally located, and it's just an awesome spot. And the reason that it's near and dear to my heart is because I used to live here for 2 years, and I don't live too far away now, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of a tour as we talk about the 49ers and their defense. D'Amico Ryans taking a unit that I thought played really well for a half, and then all of a sudden obviously had a couple breakdowns against the Bears. 49ers are going to be taking that defense to Levi's now. They're going to be at home against the Seattle Seahawks. And, you know, one of the matchups here, let's start walking so I can give you guys a couple looks here. You guys love your tours of different San Francisco neighborhoods. I think Hayes Valley, Hayes Valley's cool because this right here, this used to be a freeway. This used to be the Central Freeway, and it was a dilapidated neighborhood because the freeway was a raised freeway that ran through the middle of these buildings, and it spilled out right here. The earthquake damaged the freeway in 1989, the Loma Prieta earthquake, and in 1999, they tore down the freeway. Once they tore down the freeway, they opened up what they call Octavia Boulevard, which is this right here. I'm standing where the freeway used to be, and it created this cool open space. This cool open space became Hayes Valley, which is one of the trendier neighborhoods in San Francisco. Now, I lived here and I moved out of this neighborhood during like the hardest period of the COVID lockdowns, and obviously it was a dark time for the neighborhood then. A lot of places closed, but now a lot of places have reopened. So as I give you guys a little bit of the walk-in tour here, you can see, we're not that far from City Hall, the Civic Center downtown, but you'll see some of my old favorite spots are still here. This is Brass Tacks. And then you got all these bars and everything. Go to Anina. They've got their little outdoor beer garden here, which closes at a certain time. But anyway, I'm going to walk this way down Hayes. There's a lot of stuff that way, but we're going to walk toward the way that I'm going. Let's talk 49ers Seahawks. 49ers defense, that's the title of the video, right? Charvarius Ward against DK Metcalf. This is why the 49ers got Charvarius Ward, because he gets to face an alpha receiver on the other side. He didn't have that challenge against the Chicago Bears. Dante Pettis, I'm not considering him in that alpha receiver category. There's a lot of alpha receivers, though, in the NFL, especially on the 49ers schedule this year. DK Metcalf is going to be one of them. That's why the 49ers have him on the roster. Well, why the 49ers have Charvarius Ward on the roster for this type of matchup. It's going to be huge. There's going to be a second matchup in this game that's going to be critically important. It's like the sub-headline matchup. Tyler Lockett against the 49ers rookie, Samuel Womack III. Those two matchups in this game are money matchups. We're going to see what the 49ers have in the secondary. But the good news is that they have a way to help their defensive backs out, which I'll talk about in just a second. This is the original La Boulange. You guys remember Starbucks bought La Boulange? That's why Starbucks has those chocolate croissants and all that kind of stuff. Well, they let them keep one location, at least one location. This place is solid. It's right on the corner here in Hayes. Good place to get some breakfast. Now, what wasn't here, this used to be Stacks. This used to be a breakfast and brunch place. And now it's this place called Hazy's, and this is where we went to dinner tonight, and it was awesome. I used to be upset because Stacks wasn't open for dinner, but now, look at the wasted opportunity, right? You got to have this place open for dinner and drinks because you're right on the town square. So this place, Hazy's, I would highly recommend anybody check out. Brand new, Hayes Valley, awesome food, awesome drinks. Take a little peek inside. You know what I like? The big TVs. It's gonna be a good place to watch games. Oh, and then right by Suvla, which is the Greek place. You get good Mediterranean Greek food. All right, anyway, we're gonna start walking down Hayes Street here. The memories just come flooding back. We're going to go down to Laguna, keep on walking. I promised I'd talk about what would help the 49ers defensive backs, because obviously you got Charvarius Ward against DK Metcalf. That's a big-time matchup. You've got Tyler Lockett, the great Seahawks slot receiver who's been a tormentor of the 49ers for so many years. He's going to be working against the rookie Samuel Womack. But what could really help the 49ers on the back end in this game is the fact that the Seahawks are starting 2 rookies at the offensive tackle positions. Charles Cross at left tackle, he's their top 10 pick. Abraham Lucas at right tackle, he's a 3rd-round pick. Lucas was actually better in the season opener against the Denver Broncos than Charles Cross was, but they're both rookies. And the 49ers have a lot of guys who aren't rookies along the defensive line, namely Nick Bosa, but I talked to Sansom Ebukam about it today, Charles Amenahu in the locker room. And I mean, I think all these guys have a big advantage just because they know the game. They know how the NFL works, as opposed to the rookies. Charles Cross struggled against the Broncos, and I think the 49ers can really make some hay in that aspect of the game. So, hey, I just walked down Haight Street. This is Salt and Straw. I'm sure you guys know the ice cream spot. Always people on a line out there. So make sure you go get your ice cream after dinner. You could go to your great little German eatery here on the corner. That used to be a restaurant I went to. They're closed, unfortunately, Laguna. And I used to live on this corner, right where there seems to be police activity right now. Actually, you could see the lights over there. Lived at Linden and Laguna. Something going down. Right by Domo Sushi. And Domo Sushi is a spot that you need to check out as well. So this is Linden and Laguna. You might have seen this on Instagram. It used to be a spot called the Riddler. And the Riddler had the champagne bottle painted on the wall as a mural. Now it's Linden and Laguna, established 2021. Had a drink there today. And then here's Domo Sushi, which is awesome. We'll walk by Domo, give you guys a look before we keep on talking 49ers Seahawks. Better run. Better run. There you go. Domo Sushi. That's the spot. All right, so I hope you enjoyed your tour of Hayes Valley. That's one of San Francisco's cooler neighborhoods. We only saw like 20% of it. You got a very East Coast feel. You have, it's a little more dense than a lot of these SF neighborhoods. It's on the intersection of some busy streets. I'm about to cross Fell, Franklin, Goff, all those. So I don't want to say New York feel, but it definitely has a denser feel than you get on most of the West Coast. And it was a hell of a lot of fun living there. Anyway, 49ers defense against the Seahawks offense. You got rookie tackles for the Seahawks. The 49ers absolutely must take advantage of this. Charles Cross didn't have a good game against the Broncos. Abraham Lucas played better, but I don't think that he's going to match up really well with Nick Bosa or whoever else the 49ers run out there with the waves of talent that they have. And then it's a matter of that pass rush fueling the secondary, because on the back end, these are challenging matchups for the 49ers, but I think Charvarius Ward is trying to prove that he's a premier corner. And if you're a premier corner, this is why the 49ers brought you in, so you can face DK Metcalf in a game like this. And then if you're Samuel Womack, rookie 5th-round pick for the 49ers, this is a chance to really prove yourself, because Tyler Lockett is one of the best slot receivers in the game. So this is such a game of matchups. It's just so intriguing to me. And there's matchups on the other side of the ball, but I really like to talk about the 49ers defense against the Seahawks offense. And I think there's several kind of hinge points, several tests, if you will, in this game. I mean, another one is Geno Smith, Seahawks quarterback. I mean, he's the man of the hour right now in the NFL, right? 23 of 28 against the Denver Broncos, 17 of 18 to open the game. Here's the thing, though. I don't think Seattle fully trusted their offensive line. And because of that, you saw Geno throwing short a lot. The average depth of target was only about 5 yards. And because of that, I think the 49ers just have to be so disciplined in this game, because they're going to have a similar advantage. They're going to have a greater advantage than Denver did. They're going to be better when it comes to the line of scrimmage. And because of that, I think Seattle's going to go short game. I think they're going to try to throw to Rashad Penny. They're going to try to throw short to Metcalf, to Lockett, to whoever they have. Will Dissly, their tight end, the guy that's supposedly better than Kittle, as Seahawks fans say. All of that is going to be in play, and the 49ers are going to have to play top-down defense. They're going to have to make sure that nothing squeaks by them. They're going to have to keep, you know, if Smith is going to be super accurate on short passes as he was last week, they're going to have to make sure that there's not yak. They're going to make sure that nothing leaks past them. And I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with Geno on Monday night with his elusiveness. He was able to break free from some of those pass rushes. I mean, the touchdown to Dissly was after the pocket collapsed. The 49ers must maintain a disciplined rush. And then if they don't get a firm hold of Geno Smith, they can't let Will Dissly be running around free like the Denver Broncos did. So that's my look at the matchup between the 49ers defense and the Seahawks offense. So I'm moving neighborhoods now. San Francisco, for those of you who like little pieces of trivia, as we see a pipe project right here. That's why I have to kind of walk carefully. 47 neighborhoods and 49 square miles. So we have officially moved neighborhoods from Hayes Valley to the lower Haight. I have to walk up this hill. But first I want to give you guys a cool view. This used to be a tea lounge, but now I saw that it has rebranded to the Page Street co-working space for writers. So maybe I can join these guys. If you're interested in joining, you could scan that QR code and you could work here at the Page Street co-working space for writers. I think that I would apply. I think I would qualify to apply, not apply. No, this is Hayes Valley. Somebody asked if this is North Beach. No, we're moving from Hayes Valley to the lower Haight. You could see Civic Center and some of the taller buildings over there. Page is one of the most beautiful streets in San Francisco. That's what I'm about to walk up. One thing about doing a live and talking about the 49ers while I'm walking up a hill, though, is that I lose my breath. So before I go up there, I want to show you guys some beautiful San Francisco doorsteps. I mean, look at the detail. And this city has so much of this. Just fine detail, even down to the fire escape. It's beautiful. All right, you guys have any questions? Questions will help me walk up this hill. It's a daunting one. I mean, it's not 45 degrees. There have been worse hills to walk up in the city. But until you've tried to do a YouTube live while walking up the hill, don't knock it. It's not easy. I'll just admire some of these buildings. All right, guys, tell me what you have on your mind question-wise, and I'll talk. Will the fullback get more opportunities on Sunday? You mean pass game opportunities? Running reps? What do you mean? I think a lot of it is game flow dependent. I think Juszczyk was in there for 24 snaps the other day? That's about his average. I wouldn't expect him to get too many more, too many less. Maybe the 49ers get more offensive snaps, which means more for Juszczyk, so maybe. Well, somebody asked about Juice at tight end. Go to my Twitter. You'll see a video of Kyle Juszczyk during individual drills early today. Was actually working with the 49ers tight ends on motion blocks for the Zorro plays. So I don't know what that means. I don't want to read too much into it, but Juice is a versatile player, and maybe the 49ers want to test some of that Seattle linebacker speed. No more Bobby Wagner. Do I think Danny Gray will be activated? It's going to be raining again, very possibly. That might hurt the chances of it. We'll see. I think the 49ers could really use that speed threat, but he's got to be ready to do the other things, the other phases of the game. I think that's very critical for Danny Gray. I know you guys can't really see me, so I'm going to flip this back around. I've almost made it up the hill. Seattle looked physical and explosive, somebody says. You know what they did, but they also got outgained by 200 yards. The Denver Broncos outgained Seattle by about 200 yards. They're much more efficient per play. The reason that the Denver Broncos did not beat the Seattle Seahawks, despite outgaining them by 200-something yards, is because they fumbled twice in a row at the 1-yard line. That had never happened to a team in NFL history. And that leads me to my main key in this game. And we'll talk about this key as we handle this next hill. Wait for this Prius to cross the street. Some of these guys wait way too long at stop signs. Prevents my YouTube live flow. We're going to be talking about special teams, and we're going to be talking about winning at the margins, winning in the red zone, because that's what the Denver Broncos didn't do. The Broncos also had a ton of penalties, just like the 49ers. The 49ers and the Broncos were, both penalized into defeat this past weekend. So discipline's going to be really important, but one thing about Pete Carroll teams is they always seem to win games in which they're outgained. And one of the main reasons, there's two reasons. One of the main reasons, though, the first one we should talk about is Seattle's ability to stop other teams near the goal line. It's uncanny. For a long time, I thought that the Seattle Seahawks just were getting lucky. But at a certain point, you can't say that it's luck because it happens so often. The 49ers lost at the goal line against Seattle last year. Remember, they were driving at the end of the game. They had a chance to win it. They're down by only a few points. Maybe they're down by 7, but they had a chance to either tie or win it there at the end. And, of course, they got stopped at the goal line. You go back to Denver this past week. The Broncos, they have the ball at the Seattle 1 twice in a row, and they fumble both times. Pete Carroll and his teams, they stiffen up at the goal line. And the 49ers just so happened to be coming off a game in which they did not capitalize on all the yards they racked up. So they dominated the Bears statistically, but they didn't dominate the Bears on the scoreboard. Seattle is just the opponent that usually wins in the way that the Bears beat the 49ers this past weekend. So the 49ers need to reverse the script from week 1. And they're going to start that by performing better in the red zone. Now, the second thing that they have to do is beat Seattle on special teams. The reason that Seattle, on top of that red zone dominance, has been so good under Pete Carroll in winning games that they shouldn't win is because of special teams. Last year, if Seattle gets only average special teams play instead of awesome special teams play and terrible special teams play from the 49ers win both of those games. But remember what happened. The 49ers were fumbling kicks with Trenton Cannon. The 49ers weren't ready to defend a fake punt. The 49ers were essentially atrocious in the third phase of the game. And that allowed Seattle to beat them twice. Here's the thing, though. Over the past decade, Seattle's special teams coordinator for most of it was Brian Schneider. He is now the 49ers' new special teams coordinator. I think Kyle Shanahan has finally acknowledged and realized the importance of special teams because it will lose you football games against inferior teams if you don't recognize that. So I think that's a big change entering this game, and that's something that I'm absolutely highlighting as a key. All right, so I made the walk up from Hayes Valley to the lower Haight. I'm on Page Street, which I mentioned was one of the most beautiful streets in San Francisco. See, we are about 0.6 miles from Van Ness Station, 0.4 miles from Church Station. Those are all subway stations. And 0.9 miles from Japantown. Very centrally located on Page Street. These are what we call Edwardian houses, not Victorian. Victorian's what you'd see in the Painted Ladies on Alamo Square. These are, I believe, the era after that. But I think this is Victorian right here. Yeah, see, it's a different style. Built in 1886. This thing was here way before the 1906 earthquake. 20 years before the 1906 earthquake. Pretty cool, those steps. These are all Victorians. Vespa's parked out in front. And this is San Francisco history. I mean, that one even has colorful windows. You could see how people will say that this is the most European American city when you walk down blocks like this, just these quiet blocks with these streets and these old houses. But it's European part of it, but it's unique in its own San Francisco way. I think there's no question that San Francisco is the most visually beautiful city in the United States. And it will obviously go toe to toe with a lot of the most beautiful cities in the world, but it's got its own unique feel to it. Its sister city, San Francisco's sister city, is Lisbon, Portugal. I would really recommend going there. It has a lot of similarities to San Francisco as far as the hills. In fact, the bridge in Lisbon, one day we'll do a Lombardi live from Lisbon, Portugal. There's a bridge in Lisbon, Portugal, though, you could look it up on Google, that is designed in the same style as the Bay Bridge, but it's colored in the same way as the Golden Gate Bridge. So the main bridge in Lisbon is a hybrid between the Bay and the Golden Gate Bridge. Really cool. And the city's built on 7 hills, and it has cable cars, their own yellow cable cars. So it's sister cities with San Francisco. All right, we're still moving. We are now, I could walk down Haight Street, but that's a block down and then I'd have to come a block back up. I'll only be with you guys for about half block more. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I'm not really reading, but I will now. The tour, for those of you who are just joining, started in Hayes Valley, and we're moving into the lower Haight. We talked about the 49ers defense, how they match up with the Seahawks. Then I talked about the 2 big keys, red zone defense and special teams. See Mike is in the house, see Jason's in the house. Shout out to everybody. If you guys have any football questions, I'll try to tackle them. But you've got about half a block left, because I don't want you guys to know where I live. So I'm gonna put this away when I'm still a couple blocks away. Will the offense score more than 15 points? I think so, unless it's pouring again. How many losses till the 49ers start Jimmy? Well, that had to actually be Trey's fault primarily, and I don't think that we're in that area yet. I'll finish with this. Trey Lance is a long-term project. By that I mean Jimmy Garoppolo might be more efficient, might be the better option to win right now, but the 49ers are investing so that Trey Lance is the better option by the end of the season. That's their plan. I don't know if it's going to work, but that's their plan. That's the 49ers thinking. So they're not going to be knee-jerk reaction like a lot of people on the internet are right now. They believe in Trey's mental makeup. They believe in his ability to improve over the course of the season. And if that happens, this team can be damn good. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the tour. Good night from San Francisco. We'll talk to you from the facility tomorrow. Like the video, sub to the channel. Take care.